Picture this, a Canadian Christmas, but not as you know it. Imagine our Canuck friend, let's call him Bob, deciding to spice up his holiday dinner. He swaps the traditional turkey marinade for something a little more Canadian, maple syrup. Now, Bob's family, they're a bit skeptical, but Bob, he's all in. He slathers that bird in syrup like he's preparing a stack of pancakes. Fast forward to dinner time. The turkey's out of the oven, glistening, smelling like a sweet, savory dream. But there's a catch. The bird is stickier than a politician's promise. Trying to carve it turns into a comedy show with slices flying left and right. Grandma gets a drumstick stuck to her glasses. Uncle Joe's tie is a casualty, but through the chaos the family is laughing. And the taste? Unbelievable. A new Christmas classic is born, and that, my friends, is how the tradition of maple syrup roasted turkey was born. Now let's shift gears to something even more Canadian. The hockey stick Christmas tree. Picture this, a family nestled deep in the Canadian wilderness, miles from the nearest town, and a snowstorm hits just as they were about to go out and fetch their Christmas tree. Classic Canadian Christmas, eh? So there they were, snowed in and treeless. The kids were on the verge of tears, and in the spirit of true Canadian resourcefulness, the parents had a light bulb moment. They glanced at the pile of hockey sticks in the corner, and voila, a solution was born. Now, making a Christmas tree out of hockey sticks is about as easy as teaching a moose to do a pirouette, but they were desperate. They started stacking the hockey sticks, trying to form some semblance of a tree. The result looked more like a porcupine that had a really bad day, but they went with it. They tried to drape tinsel over it, but the tinsel kept getting caught on the tape of the hockey sticks. The ornaments, well, they didn't even try. They just settled for some hockey pucks and old mittens. Now imagine the look on the neighbors' faces when they saw this monstrosity. It was a mix of shock, amusement, and that peculiar Canadian politeness where they're trying not to laugh at your ridiculousness. But you know what? That hockey stick Christmas tree became the talk of the town. It was the embodiment of the Canadian spirit. Resourceful, resilient, and a little bit insane. And the kids, they loved it. They thought it was the best Christmas tree ever. They even started a tradition of making their own hockey stick Christmas tree every year. So if you ever find yourself treeless on Christmas Day, just remember that any pile of junk can be a Christmas tree if you're desperate enough. And who needs Santa Claus when you've got a Santa Moose? That's right, folks. Up here in the frosty wilds of Canada, we've traded in reindeer for something with a bit more girth. Meet Maurice, our resident Christmas moose, our jolly giant who makes his rounds every Christmas Eve. Now, Maurice isn't your typical moose, oh no. Maurice is a bona fide Canadian hero with a heart as big as his antlers and a love for Tim Hortons donuts that rivals any lumberjacks. Forget milk and cookies. In Canada, we leave out a box of Timmy's finest crullers to fuel Maurice's festive journey. But how does he navigate, you ask? Well, Maurice, like any self-respecting Canadian, has a built-in compass for Tim Hortons locations. He just follows the scent of fresh brewed coffee and honey-glazed donuts from one house to the next, delivering presents and causing a delightful ruckus. Oh yes, Maurice may be a bit more chaotic than your run-of-the-mill Santa. There's the occasional trampled garden gnome, the odd hockey net knocked askew, and let's not forget the time he mistook the town's Christmas tree for a potential mate. But hey, it's all part of the charm, right? So kids, remember to leave out a donut for Maurice the Moose this Christmas Eve. He's got a long night ahead. And remember, nothing says Canadian Christmas quite like the sight of a giant moose, hopped up on sugar, spreading holiday cheer one timbit at a time. Last but not least, let's dive into the great Canadian snowball fight. You may think of Christmas as a time for peace and goodwill, but in Canada, it's the season for an epic coast-to-coast snowball showdown. Yes, you heard that right. Every 25th of December, Canadians from all walks of life brave the frosty outdoors, armed with nothing but their mittens and a sense of snowball-chucking determination. Now there's no just winging it here. Oh no, this is a serious business. Months in advance, Canadians begin their rigorous training routines. Picture Rocky Balboa, but instead of punching slabs of beef, they're hurling snowballs at maple trees. And you can't just lob a snowball and hope for the best. There are strategies and techniques involved. There's the sneaky beaver, where you hide behind a snowbank and launch a surprise attack. Or the polar vortex, a rapid-fire snowball blitz. And my personal favorite, the moose drool, a snowball so wet and slushy it's guaranteed to make the receiver shriek louder than a loon on a June morning. But remember, it's all in good fun. There are no winners or losers, just a bunch of frost-nipped Canadians with rosy cheeks, hearty laughs, and pockets full of snow. So there you have it, folks. Christmas in Canada, a truly unique and hilarious experience. So, are you ready to experience a Canadian Christmas? Let's add a dash of humor to our holidays with these tongue-in-cheek traditions. Remember, it's all in good fun. So grab your hockey sticks, your maple syrup, and your snowballs, and let's make this Christmas the most Canadian one yet. And a very big thanks and Merry Canadian Christmas to Joy Williams, Tiffany Williams, and Gabriel Williams.